What's up, guys? Today, of course, I'm going to be breaking down and reviewing the medic rifle in Battlefield 1 called the Autoloading 8. There's three variants to this weapon, with one being very different than the other two. The first being the factory variant, which allows for faster recoil reset between shots. The Marksman variant, which offers a low magnification zoom sort of sight that offers up to 2.5 to 4 times zoom and serves to reduce spread when aiming down the sight. And lastly, the extended variant, which completely changes the weapon, and I'll get to this discussion fully in a minute. The factory and marksman variants are reloaded by a strip clip of 5 rounds or can be single round reloaded, but the extended variant reloads by magazine, so you don't have to worry about the previous aforementioned reload styles. For the review, I'll discuss optimum strategies when using these weapons, as well as break down the Simtic numbers to give you a better understanding of the weapon. The factory and marksman variant are exactly the same in terms of basic stats, but they do differ in terms of spread and recoil behavior, and of course I'll discuss this shortly. The extended variant has a different damage scheme entirely, so again I'll break that down further. You have to be anywhere between kit rank 1 and 3 for the medic class to unlock these weapons. I unlocked them all at once, so I forget the order, and you'll need to spend 200 war bonds apiece for each variant to unlock them. So let's get to the stats. To start, all variants of the Autoloading 8 have a 359 round per minute fire rate, a 660 meters per second bullet velocity, a 12 meters per second squared gravitational constant, meaning you will suffer substantial bullet drop over range, though it's likely not to be an issue with this rifle. The magazine size for the factory and marksman variant is 5 rounds, but it's 16 for the extended variant. You can add a bayonet to all of them, but they will negatively affect the recoil of the weapon and how quickly you can rise the weapon from, say, a fire-ready position from sprint, so it's up to you if you'd like to add those negatives to the weapon. The damage chart for the factory and marksman variant state that it has a base damage of 42 up to 34 meters away, drops down to 30 damage at 52 meters, and stays that way from 52 meters on. For Battlefield 1, the damage multipliers are 1.7 times for headshots, 1 times for upper body shots, and 0.96 times for lower body, arms, and legs. So in general, that makes the factory and marksman variants a 3-shot body shot weapon inside of 34 meters, and a 2-shot kill weapon if one of those shots is a headshot, inside of 34 meters. Outside of 34 meters, it will take a maximum of 4 body shots to kill, maybe less if you hit a headshot or 2 in there. The extended variant is on a completely different damage model, which is interesting because most of the weapons don't have this scheme. It has a base damage of 38 up to 11 meters away, then it drops down to 21 damage from 32 meters on. So that makes this weapon a 3-shot body shot weapon inside of 11 meters, and a 2-shot kill weapon if one of those shots is a headshot inside of 11 meters. Interesting to note though, outside of 32 meters, it will take at least 5 body shots to kill. So be wary of that. This is not the variant you want to use at longer ranges. In terms of recoil, the factory and marksman variants are identical. They have 0.85 degrees of vertical recoil and 0.3 degrees of horizontal left and right recoil, no preference for either side. The extended variant has 0.51 degrees of vertical recoil and 0.3 degrees of recoil horizontally, both left and right, again, no preference for a side. So overall, the extended variant will have the least recoil because it fires smaller caliber rounds, but as a result, does less overall damage per shot. Also of note, the factory variant has the best recoil decrease rating of 6, which is to be expected with that variant, as opposed to other variants with a rating of 4. We'll now evaluate spread. The factory and extended variants have 0.21 degrees of spread when aiming down sights and not moving, and 0.79 degrees of spread when aiming down sights and moving. The marksman variant has 0.14 degrees of spread when aiming down sights and not moving, and 0.79 degrees of spread when aiming down sights and moving. As expected, what this means is that the marksman variant will have the least amount of overall spread, especially when you aim down the sights and are not moving. Interesting to note though, all variants have the same amount of spread when aiming down the sights and moving, so unlike other weapons, if you play a more aggressive style, you won't have to choose one variant over the other, at least in terms of just spread. The same goes for hip fire when stationary or moving. All variants have the same values. When standing and hip firing and not moving, you will encounter 2 degrees of spread. When standing, hip firing, and moving, you will encounter 2.5 degrees of spread. Essentially, it's not surprising news. You'll want to be stationary when shooting and aiming down the sights to minimize spread as much as possible with all variants. Last point of info to note. The Marksman variant has the least spread increase per shot at 0.125 degrees per shot, which is half of the other two variants at 0.25 degrees per shot. So if you're going to cluster fire and shoot a lot of shots at once, the Marksman variant's the one to choose. In terms of reload speeds, the factory and Marksman variants, due to the weapons being a strip clip reload design, take 3.22 seconds to reload when fully empty. If you reload 2 rounds, it will take 2.95 seconds. If you shoot more than 2 rounds and reload from there, you're better off emptying the magazine of 5 completely rather than reloading 3+ rounds, or you're actually wasting time. For the extended variant, because you reload it by magazine, it will take 2.6 seconds to reload from completely empty and 2.1 seconds to reload with a round left in the chamber. So, what ranges and situations does this weapon excel? Obviously, depends on the variant. The factory and Marksman variants do an incredible job of doing damage up to 34 meters away, because their damage model is 42 per shot up to 34 meters away. So for max damage and a 2-shot kill, if one of them is a headshot, you'll want to be within 34 meters. They do have drawbacks, of course, because the magazine size is only 5. You'll want to be closer with the other variant, the extended variant, as the damage drop-off starts much sooner at 11 meters as opposed to 34. The extended variant also offers a much larger magazine size of 16 versus 5 for the other variants, and it reloads faster. So basically it's this. Use the extended variant if you're going to be playing a more aggressive moving style in closer range of about 15 meters or so, even 20, but the damage will be dropped off quite a bit by 20 as opposed to 11 meters. And use the factory variant and Marksman variants if you're going to be sitting in that medium range of 20 to 34 meters and playing less aggressively. So the big question, what's my rating and would I use this weapon often? And first off, I'll state this. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, why use this weapon over, say, the Mondragon or the Selbstlader with a 5-round magazine when the other ones have a 26 and at least 10? Why use the extended variant when the damage model drop-off starts so much sooner? The short answer, the amazing fire rate of 359 rounds per minute, which is much, much higher than the Mondragon and the Selbstlader at 257 and 224 rounds per minute, respectively. When you combine the high damage model with a weapon with a high fire rate, your time to kill, providing you're accurate, will be much, much, much faster with this weapon than it will with the other two. It's balanced out by the small magazine size to make sure that this isn't the weapon of choice for everyone. Granted, if you miss a shot or two, you're probably going to lose the firefight. If you get into an encounter closer than 20 meters with the factory or the Marksman variant and a couple of enemies pop up, you're going to lose. If you stay in that 20 to 34 meter range with the factory and Marksman variants though, and you sort of selectively pick your encounters and you have cover around you so you can reload between shots, you have the advantage over pretty much any weapon, especially medic weapons, for time to kill. You're in closer range, the high fire rate and large magazine size of the extended variant give you the best advantage against similar weapons inside of about 15 meters. Don't go too far away with this weapon though, or you'll lose that competitive advantage. Overall, I must say I'd probably give all of these variants an 8 to an 8.5 overall. And listen to my logic. Skilled players will find great success sticking to the weapon's niche ranges, but it does have large concerns for the average player due to the small magazine size. The average player, especially knowing that they might miss 1 to 2 of those 5 rounds, are probably better suited with the Mondragon or the Selbstlader because it's more forgiving. A weapon like this missing shots on a 5-round magazine where it's going to take at least 3 shots to kill, assuming you don't hit a headshot, is extremely unforgiving. And you might think, okay, well, choose the extended variant. But that one has concerns too, because the damage model shrinks to far below the average of the other weapons once you start going past around 15 meters. So the other medic rifles now have an advantage. The key thing though, stay in the niche, be accurate, and you'll have the advantage. Pursue the Mondragon or the Selbstlader if you're the type that likes the assurance of having those extra couple of rounds that you know you might miss that give you a fighting chance because the magazine will be bigger. This weapon is definitely one that rewards high levels of skill more so than the other ones. That's it for the review though. If you liked it, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and that's it. See you guys later.